Hey everyone, you're listening to Raina's podcast. My podcast is for entrepreneurs to find motivation, resources, and business tips. The entrepreneur journey is not easy, but I hope that this podcast can encourage you to keep going and to remind you que sí se puede. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Raina's podcast. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about what to expect the first 3 years of starting your business, your dream project, and all of that fun stuff, right? And first and foremost, I really want to congratulate you in taking this step and taking action, because how many people just have this idea, have this cool business idea, but they never really take action, right? And it's funny how sometimes those are the people that love to suggest or give any advice when they themselves don't really take action themselves, right? But you did, whether you wrote it down on paper, you took action and you're already starting to invest in time and money into this, then that is something to really be very, very grateful for, and to also be really proud of yourself, right? Mainly. And I want to do this episode because a lot of people who follow me on Instagram and have been following my journey or have recently followed me, they are also very entrepreneurial mindset too. They have either some type of business idea, and I get it. It's not as then once you start and you take action, you're like, whoa, this isn't as simple as you thought, or it's it's a lot more sacrifice. And that's why a lot of times just people in businesses don't make it right very far, or they stop at a certain point because it's a lot of work, a lot of time, energy, and literally you just sacrifice a lot, and you have to, it's a lifestyle, to be honest. And if you're not into this type of lifestyle of working when mainly people are not working or putting in that extra time, then it's totally fine. That's not your type of lifestyle, and you enjoy working your 9 to 5, but going home, chilling with your family, and that's totally fine as well. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's a lifestyle, and it's you have to truly want, really be passionate about this business or this project or idea that you have, because it's going to involve a lot of sacrifice. And again, this sacrifice is really in the beginning and during all times, but you want to eventually then that's when it comes to building your business and delegating, and not building your business for it to run itself, right? Depending what type of business you do, but eventually, you have all the hats at first, and then later on you are able to delegate and train people and build a team, and that's when you can outsource, and it's a cash flowing business. So that's kind of what I wanted to start off with. And I really want to do this episode because I've been in this, I really want to say entrepreneurship journey. I feel like I started my entrepreneurship journey when I was in middle school or high school. In middle school, I was selling bracelets, and I was already trying to sell, different things to make extra money. And, the side, side hustle that really was working well was selling chips in high school, and just learning that whole, not really caring what people think, and just putting yourself out there, right? Hey, even though it's something so simple like selling chips, but hey, people wanted it. It was a very simple way to get started. And I saw the profits, right? And I invested money, in buying a box of chips and doing that. And so it was just like practice and putting myself out there, managing money, like knowing, oh, okay, I have to invest and buy more products. I can't just spend all the money I made, right? And this really allowed me to also know like that it also helped me see like there is money out there, especially just growing up. Sometimes our environment, they have that scarcity mindset about money and it can affect us, but knowing that, hey, like I saw that I had an issue or a problem, or like I wanted to make more money, then I was able to solve it. And now fast forward, a couple years after college, um I just kind of wanted to start. I always knew I wanted to do my own business and start my own thing. And even if you're, when you're young, you're like, I want to start a business, like you're not really sure exactly what, exactly how, but that's like what you want to do. You want to work for yourself, and that's totally fine. Like when you want to put a vision and you have a goal, sometimes, you can, in the moment, maybe it's like people laugh at it, or you yourself, you're like, I don't know how it's going to happen. But if you write it down and like this is something that you want, and you're obviously taking action and taking those steps for the goal to happen, then it will get accomplished. And so I really want this to be some like a motivational episode, and really giving you some tips on what to expect your first 3 years. And I have a lot of good nuggets here, like good information, and really a lot of notes here that I took down so that you're able to, that literally like I've experienced, and I know that any entrepreneur in the beginning is going to experience. But I really want you to know, like, if you're listening to this and you're just like, oh, okay, Rena, like I'm not crazy. No, you're not, because we're all low-key crazy. Right? So I just want you to listen to this and be open, and take what resonates with you, and everything. And if it does, like, let me know what you thought about the episode. And you can also like leave a review on iTunes podcast. You can share there, or you can just leave me an Instagram DM and connect with me on Instagram at hola_reina. And I'll put it in the description, the show notes below. But going back to a little bit about my background and how I got started, was I actually, when I was in UC Santa Cruz, I was there for 2 years. And being there for 2 years, I was extremely, like, to be honest, like I've literally felt depressed, and a lot of depression when I was in my second year of college. And no one would ever think that I was depressed, right? Because I was like Reina's always like the go-getter, the has goals, and I literally so when people tell me that they've felt depressed, I really feel for them, because it is literally like a dark cloud over you that you can't just wake up every day and just be happy, right? Like, it's so easy for someone to say like, well, just look at the bright. It's so internal, and it's definitely something that you do not want to go through alone. So that was the first time I went to therapy, because that second year, like I wanted to, like, and I know I'm going to put it out there as something very vulnerable, but I was having suicidal thoughts, and like, I was so sad all the time. Like, I would cry every single day, and I would just call my dad. I remember calling him one time and being like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be alive anymore. I am so sad, and I don't even know why. And I was also like feeling guilty, because I was like, I'm so blessed. Like, I have so many amazing things in my life. Like, my family is healthy, I'm healthy, and I'm like, why do I feel this way, And it wasn't good. And I feel like as I was like going into therapy, I was like, I'm not living like a life with purpose. Like I was going to classes just to go, but I knew that those classes, I wasn't really going to use them because I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't want to learn that. So, and I'm someone that if I'm going to put in my time and effort, like I better be passionate about it. I can't just do it just to do it. And for college for me, while I was paying for it, I was taking out, like I was getting scholarships, but also taking out a few loans. Like it wasn't coming from my parents, so like pocket. So, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to just quit school and like it was a waste of their money. No, like it was going to be my money. So I felt like it was my decision to really decide if I wanted to go to school or not. And so that summer when I left school, I was like, let me see how I feel and like in the summer. And then they ended up asking like, right, they send out an email like, do you want to come back to school or not? And I actually just said no. Like I didn't tell anybody. I didn't mention it to my parents, and my parents know me and they know that I'm like very hardworking, and I just told them like, I have these other visions and I want to do all this other stuff. So communication was really big. But I also feel like they didn't think that I was really going to like leave school. So that was something that was also very like surprising to them. But, at the end of the day, I was kind of like super young. So I was just telling them, if I really need it, school's always there. Like I can always go back. So to be honest, leaving school, there was just a lot of pressure I felt, right? A lot of pressure I started feeling, and one of the biggest things that I can really say that I needed, like that anybody needs work on, and at all times in all areas of your business, especially if this is like you're a first generation entrepreneur, like no one in your family really has a business or anything. Your mindset, and that is the most important part. And I'm gonna give you tips on like what helps with your mindset. But first, I want to just bring up like the mindset is everything, and just being very self-aware and very confident, and as much as you can, right? And this journey is so much self discovery and healing, and you're breaking so many like generational, I don't want to say traumas, but just generational like consistent beliefs. And I think that is something that is it's a lot for one person, right? But it's not impossible, and you're not the first person in the whole world that's done that. Like and so what what helped me a lot was podcasts. And to be honest, like, and I'm gonna like give him a shout out, but I was like obsessed with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. And I remember seeing him on Instagram, and I was like, and just all the like, how I think the first video was like, he was talking about how like, if you don't like why, like he about school and college, like you don't really need college, or saying same thing about like, if you have some other goal, like just work really hard on your business and on your goal, sacrifice, and then you'll like that is like college, and that is experience. And so it just kind of like somebody that validated what I was already feeling, but there was nobody out there like stating that, because everybody was always like, go to school, get a job, go to school, get a job. But I was just like, well, what if I don't want to go to school and get a job? Like, what if or you just have different type of goals, and just you want to do more than just go to school and get a job. And so I really I was obsessed with his podcast and his YouTube channel, and I would like watch it every single day. And so it helped me a lot, because it helped me get my mindset to the right place, knowing that, okay, like what I'm doing is good. Like, okay, I need to work hard. And yes, I'm already sacrificing. Yes, I'm already and he also just stated how when you're young, like it's a lot easier to already take these risks because you don't have a job, like you don't have a family, you're not like married, you don't have like a mortgage, you have like less responsibilities. And so, and not that if you do have a family and you do, like, doesn't mean you can't get started, and he would always say that too, but it's obviously like a lot easier because you're just worrying about yourself. um so it really helped me, like, okay, this is like, if I'm gonna take a risk, like, I'm gonna do it now, right, versus later when you do have a lot more responsibilities. Um so I think the biggest thing, so that was really helpful. And then, like, as you fall into this like personal development, um, world, you start learning about what other people start doing, other successful people. Like, okay, then I started learning about different, like, he would interview different speakers and different people, and I would like read their books, and then you just start like following them, and then they promote like different events and things like that. And so it really helped me. And like, I really also love learning, like, what are their habits that they do, right? What do they do every single day that is really getting them to that mindset? Because, and for them to wake up every day and do what they do. And a lot of them, do prayer and meditation. And I like to do like both, to be honest. Like prayer, you're praying to your God, and or your whoever you believe in, your higher power, or you meditate. You simply just pause and you stop your thoughts, and that's also really powerful too, so that you are very self-aware and control of your thoughts, right? Because our thoughts really can be like, it can be really great if we have positive thoughts, but then they can be super damaging if we have a lot of negative thoughts, and then that affects like our actions and like everything that we do. I also believe in like journaling is really important, and even if just like what you do, what your goals are, what your what is your goal for the day? What are you thankful for? What did you get done for the day? And just journaling everything how you feel. Like if you're pissed, write it down. If you're, nervous about something, and like just it's really powerful to just let it out. Especially, if you don't have like a therapist, if you don't have that, like, I really encourage you to just write it down. And when you can write it down and let down out everything, like, no one's going to judge you. No one's going to read your journal, so just, it's really freeing, and like you could just let it all out, and then you can read it, and it's healing, right? I also believe in like reading, so you're always like learning something new. You can have just interesting conversations with people. I'm always like, even if you read, like, just try to read as much as you can, but really be intentional. Like, okay, I'm going to finish this book by this month and things like that. There are audible books as well. Like if you like, I feel like I am a very auditory learner. Like I like to listen to stuff while I'm doing something. Like I'm still listening, but I do also practice reading and like a physical book, because I also think as much as it takes so much energy out of me and like so much time, or it's still like, there's nothing that compares, and you will remember it like a lot more because you're visually seeing it too. And if you want to take it like a whole next step, you can do the whole audible, like listen and read the book, like have the physical book at the same time. If that's something that it's going to help you like get through the book faster. So I also believe in, again, we're still on like the mindset part of like the first 3 years of starting your business is you have to be really clear, and you're always going to be shifting, right, your goals, but like just every week have a check-in with yourself, every month, like that. This is why I've always done like goal setting workshops, and I'm really passionate about goal setting, because if you're not even clear on like where you're going, like what are you doing, like the daily habits and those daily action steps, like what, there's no intention behind it. But if you're like, oh, this is my goal within the next 3 months, then let's work backwards. Okay, this is my goal for this month. This is my goal for this week and for this day. So this is what I talk about a lot. And this is like our first module is in Latina Lifestyle Legacy, which I created for first generation Latina entrepreneurs to talk about goal setting, financial awareness, personal development, and intentional marketing. And so this is the first module we go through is goal setting. And we go like deep into this and really like writing it and putting it down on paper. And so just being very clear with what you want. And also another thing that helps with mindset is going to different networking events and just meeting like-minded people that are also like either starting a business or, you know, doing in the same field that you're in. This really helps too, so that you are connecting with these people, right? And this, I think this is like one of the biggest tips I can give you is like also connecting with like-minded individuals. And you can find this on like meetup.com or meetup.com. Facebook groups are really good too. And now that things are a little bit more virtual, they're a little bit more accessible and some things that are opening up, but I really encourage you to like go to a conference and honestly, and I know maybe some of you are like really shy or like you're not going to know anybody, but like I really encourage you, and it's a challenge, but I love to go to events by myself, to be honest, because I'm like, okay, I want to meet new people. I want to connect with people. And I'm somebody that's like very hungry and like I want to grow and I want to learn and I want to connect. So you know, I'll always be like, not that you have to connect with every single person in the room, but just say to yourself, like, okay, I'm going to connect with these 3 people. It also helps if you know, like, who are the speakers, like doing a little bit more research, like who these people are, who's the host. Or maybe like another good tip that I remember that I got was like if you reach out to the person who's hosting the event or coordinating the event and saying like, hey, these are my goals, like who do you think I should connect with, who do you think is going to be there that I should talk to, because this event is for you, right? Like they're creating this event, but it's for you to take advantage of and for you to walk out with valuable resources. So, and then they can reach out to you and tell you, oh, definitely talk to this person. So it's even more intentional going. But either way, you're going to really be open-minded and like be excited to connect with people. And even if it's one person, 2 people, have business cards, and just like write down their names. And also when you meet with them, you also want to do a follow-up, right? Of like, okay, let's have a Zoom chat or a coffee chat. If this is something you really like, a connection you really want to move forward with, because a lot of times like people will give you the business card, but then you like life happens. And if you don't follow up with them in like the next 3 days, like, you know, and you want to make sure like it's fresh in their mind who you are. So definitely networking events are amazing. So I could do a whole podcast episode on networking events. But another thing that I want to say about mindset is also make sure you take breaks, and just like, I don't know. I know I as much as I love to advocate, like, yes, work. And like, I also believe like work all the time. Yes, of course, like there's a lot of hours in the day and you're going to get work done. But I also think like, make sure you're also scheduling. And I'm just telling you because if you're doing that, like you're working all the time, you are going to burn out and you're not going to have the same quality of service or business, or just creativity that you did in the beginning because you're so burned out. So just making sure you're like, okay, as much as you're scheduling all these like networking events, like schedule a day off at the beach or doing nothing or just chilling, right? A movie night, whatever you want, but just also making sure that that's like in your calendar and you're being intentional about that so that you can continue having that creativity flowing, right? I just say creativity because I feel entrepreneurs are very creative. even if your business isn't like an artistic thing, but you have to be creative. You have to think outside the box, right? So that's what I'm saying. And I'm sure when you are taking these breaks, it's going to make you even more hungry to like get back to work. And at least for me, like every time I go on vacation, I'm like, oh my God, I already want to go back. And I'm so excited to get started and working. And that's what those breaks are for, right? Because of course, at the end of the day, you do love what you do. So just making sure you're keeping that mindset fresh. Another big topic that, this is going to be a big one. Family and friends. So, your first 3 years of business, this is going to be a very big change for you. Like you're going to change in your mindset and you're going to start like, if you're doing all the things that I'm telling you, like you're journaling, you're listening to podcasts, you're networking, like you're meeting these type of different people, you're going to become a different person that possibly your friends or your family are not used to. They're not accustomed to this, like, maybe, you don't want to go to every single family event. Like you have some work to do that you have, that you need to get done. And, you have to possibly say no. And so that you have time to work on that project or that side hustle that, maybe not everybody completely understands, right? Like what it is or why you're doing it. But at the end of the day, again, like it's not their business and it's not their goal. So they're not going to have that same passion as you. So you need to remember, if they're not like showing like that same passion, like you cannot get resentful or angry or frustrated because it's not their passion. It's yours, right? But they also, and this is where boundaries, right? And believe me, like it was really hard to set boundaries, but it gets better and better. And I literally had to go to therapy for this because it was really hard to set boundaries with my family. Like I love them so much. And, you want to be there for every little thing and you want to say yes to everybody. But there's going to be a point where you have to make things a priority and just not feeling, and when you say no, not feeling guilty about it, and that these people do not make you feel guilty about it. And if they are, like, this is something, either you need to learn how to like, okay, it's not going to affect me. It's not going to bother me, but they also shouldn't be like trying to make you feel guilty either, because, it's kind of like, no, when people say no is a complete sentence. Like, hey, do you want to go here? No. Like you literally don't even have to explain why not, what else are you doing? You literally do not. And so that is a whole other podcast episode, to be honest, boundaries. But I just want to say, like, that's something that you're going to be facing, for sure. And, possibly losing, I'm not going to like some friendships or family members that do not like these boundaries, that they're so used to you letting your boundaries down and doing whatever they ask. And so they're probably going to need some time to get used to this. And this happened with my parents, to be honest. Like I had to really, like, they were so used to me always just doing whatever they said until I was like, I don't like, if they asked me to do something last minute and I already had like my day planned, meetings planned, like it's just communication where like, hey, I can do that, but I cannot do that today. I can do that another day. Especially as like, again, first generation Latino entrepreneurs and Latina entrepreneurs, where you're expected to do so much and you're expected to just do more for your family, right? But at the end of the day, again, there are boundaries, and the sooner you learn how to set them, the better, because also that's going to reflect in your business. Again, taking it back to your business, like your personal life, how you just deal with your personal and inner life is going to show in your business too. Like if you're not even setting boundaries in your business, like clients and people, they're going to take so much advantage of you in your business because you don't even know how to set boundaries in your personal life. So just making sure that you are practicing this and you're already learning and growing from that. And then you can definitely, it's going to feel so empowering, and you're going to see the level of respect that gets gained, and you're going to respect yourself too enough to know, like, your worth, and that it's okay to have these boundaries set in stone, and not have them mess with. But at the same time, again, and this kind of goes back to like the taking breaks. I do want you to make that time for friends and family. Like, you don't have to, again, go to every single little thing, event, or whatever invite they tell you to. But, you want to make sure that, oh, hey, I won't be able to go this weekend, but let's hang out some other time, because you don't want to end up alone and like not having any friends or family. Even though entrepreneurship journey, I mean, at all like points, we somewhat feel lonely, and it can feel lonely, but you want to make sure, again, you're enjoying the journey. And, as much as you are going to sacrifice, you also just want to make sure that you do have these friends at the end of the day. Because let's say you do make, you're successful, you have all this financial success, business success, but you're alone. Like, you don't have anyone to celebrate it with. So just making sure that you're living that balanced lifestyle. And this is what we go through in Latina Lifestyle Legacy, like building that lifestyle of your business around the lifestyle you want, right? And if this is the lifestyle, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, and doing incredible and adventurous things, there is some sacrifice that goes with it, but there's also just making sure your relationships are also healthy and good to go as well. Like, finding that, as much as you like, I don't believe there's really balance. You can never have 100% balance all the time, but I do, because there are just phases in your life where you're going to have to focus more on your business, or focus more on your family, or focus, like, depending whatever phase you're in, but just making sure that you're trying as much as possible to, like, that this is why self-awareness and checking in with yourself every week, like, hey, how did I do with family this week? How did I do with like my business this week? And so just kind of like, as much as possible, making sure you're feeding all of, those categories in those areas of your life. Another thing that I want to mention. So another super important part, of course, is financial. And I really want to talk about what to expect financially, starting your business. And of course, this kind of depends on which specific type of business you're going to do, but I really want to do like very general, so that this can relate to more people. So when you start, I'm a big believer, like, okay, don't quit your job and not have and just go all in your business. Like, believe me, well, from my experience, I've done that. And then it's really, really hard when you don't have your business like set in stone, or just you need some type of income so that you can invest in your business. Because again, as you're starting out, there's gonna be a lot of like, not only time, but money you want to invest in, whether that's a website or, your products and everything. And so you're probably going to need like a second side hustle or a second job so that you can fund all of this. Because unless you have like your own investors, again, this is why it really depends on your own business, but having some side, money that you can reinvest in your business, because there's always going to be things you're learning, and you're going to be like, oh, wow, like whether that's investing in a coach, or investing in better product, or investing in more product, then you always want to make sure like you have that extra side of money. And that's why having a job in the beginning and that stability really, really helps, and can just expedite your business growth even more. Because then you want to be sure that you're covered in like your food and gas and all of that. You don't want to be worried about like the basics and how you're even going to eat when you're and also trying to start a business, because then you're not in the right mindset. So another thing that is like super key is learning how to manage your money, because it does not matter how much money you make if you do not know how to manage your money. If you're not even like capable of paying your like every year, all your bills on time, your debts on time, everything on time, like how are you going to have some other type of stream of income, some other, bank account, business account, and learning how to manage this? So this is something that needs to be, and if you're not really clear, and again, I'm going to show, this is something that we go over in Latina Lifestyle Legacy. That's the third module, is financial awareness. So we go over goal setting, personal development, financial awareness, and then intentional marketing. But financial awareness is super important because I want people to know how to manage their money. And so we go over like credit and debt and your goals, your money goals, and all of those things, so that you're aware of your money. And it's also super important to start building that healthy and abundant mindset with money. And sooner or later, it's going to come up. And especially with business, where you need to be comfortable, like you're just gonna learn and knowing how to price your services, your products, negotiating, selling, and all of those topics. Like I've read so many books, but really like creating this healthy, abundant mindset with money, because if you're living in like this scarcity mindset with money, good luck, right? And so, but what you can do is start reading books on, there's a book called You're a Badass at Making Money. And I really love that book. It really gives you a lot of activities to do to literally talk about money mindset. Because there's selling and negotiating, but that's really like once you have really like gone deep into how you were raised, right, and how your family talked about money. And so this is something really important that I want you to go over. So that book, for sure, You're a Badass at Making Money, so that you can also really learn your value and your worth. And again, also what has helped me grow, and with like in the first 3 years of my business, and the first just years of my business in general, is really helped me like with coaching. So having coaches, my own business and marketing coaches, it helped me like price myself and just really truly know my worth, and know how to negotiate, and also being part of other masterminds and learning how much other people make. And it's really empowering when you're in a mastermind and you're like, whoa, that person makes that much, that like every month, like, and it really makes it feel like, oh, I can too. And then you connect with them, and it helps you open up your mind and to see like what's possible. And it's at the end of the day, y'all, and this is again why I started off with mindset. It's really about mindset, and it's really how much you make is just a reflection of like how you feel, what you deserve, and what you're worth, how you feel. Because and like there's, for example, like there's certain people in a mastermind or an event that I went to, and they were charging, they were charging a certain fee for literally a service that a lot of people do, right? And let's just say it was like social media marketing, right? Right. There's a lot of social media managers out there. And they were charging like almost like, 10, like, no, like, 5 figures for the full day, just a 1 day, like, service. And they made 6 figures a month, and it just blew my mind. And I was like, wow. And I like remember just looking at her, and I was like, wow, like it's really about mindset. Like, she just had this confidence in herself that, hey, yeah, like I can do this and I'm going to do it successfully. And then obviously when you have that, you're making that much money, you're able to invest so much in your business and hire the right team and delegate correctly. And like, but it was all like, and I don't compare myself, and I was not like feeling bad. Oh, wow, like this person's making this much and I'm not. Like, again, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20, right? And I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen that quote going around on Instagram, but I really believe in that. Like, I'm just like, oh, wow, like, again, it helps me open up my mind being part of different masterminds and connecting with different people. And and seeing and just creating this healthy relationship with money. And so a couple of like my last thoughts to wrap up this episode. And if you've stuck around, thank you very much. Shout out to you. And just, I hope you've already like taken some really good knowledge from this and at least found like a connection as well. So some of my last thoughts, y'all, like, it is a rough journey in the beginning. It is going to be a very rough bump. Like, you will literally cry. You will like just go through a lot because, again, you're really breaking a lot of these generational beliefs that are not easy. It's not easy, right? And you're learning and you're growing, and I want you to just like hug yourself and be graceful with yourself. Like, as much as we're so hard on ourselves and like there's so much we can get done, believe me, like I'm very hard on myself, but at the same time, if I were to reflect like where I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, like I have grown so much, and I'm so proud of myself on how far I've come and how I never gave up. And like, I'm still not giving up. And even though like not every day is easy, life has happened, like it's not perfect all the time. Like, it's still like, it's part of the journey, right? And as long as I still have my vision and still put effort as much as I can every single day, like, you will accomplish it, and just, I think that's like the biggest thing, is not giving up. And another really big thing another thing I wanted to note was like, I have had so many different just side hustles and jobs in order to really like build this type of dream life and business. And I feel like finally, like after a couple years, I'm now making 5 figures a month, and I'm still in shock, to be honest. And that's something I feel like finally I can like breathe, and I can, and that in my last episode, or when I'm was like moving out, right? And I'm able to live on my own and, not depend on anybody. And this wouldn't have, happened if literally like, and it's all because I've been able to continue to believe in myself and not give up. And believe me, like, there was a lot of times where I was just like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, how is this going to get better? Like, it just felt so hard, but you just have to continue pushing through and doing whatever you can to continue to live through your purpose, right? And just knowing that you're not alone. And this is literally why I created Latina Lifestyle Legacy. So, because I want you not to feel alone, and I don't want you to think like, so that we can go through this healing journey together. We can go through these exercises, these activities, and all of this together, right? And seeking these healthy friendships that are supporting your business goals, that are supporting your personal goals, and understand like that whole extra side hustle, right, that you need to put in. And I think the biggest thing is like to not give up. It doesn't matter like if it's gonna take you 10 years, 20 years, like 5 years, whatever, like don't give up. And if you are working on something every day, like you're gonna see progress, right? But a lot of times now people just want to see something tomorrow, right? Like it doesn't work that way. And like really just that's why the mindset and like blocking out all of those negative voices, or maybe your environment, changing your environment, is important as well, like so you can stay focused and be in a healthy, positive mindset. So if you're interested in Latina Lifestyle Legacy, I'm going to be launching that again soon. And we do have a wait list if you're interested. So you can click the link in the description of the show notes, and it'll be there, the waitlist link. And it's a simple form with your name and email. And it's then when it's ready to, when it's, the doors are open again, then you'll be able to join us and really take advantage of this really incredible community. And it is a course, a self-paced course, but also it has all these activities and worksheets, and it also has Zoom calls that will be included, and also a lot of networking events that we do together, and the community is like the biggest thing. So I invite you to apply to that and just, fill out the form. So thank you so much for, again, taking the time to listen to this. I hope you learned so much and that you were able to, again, connect with something, resonate with something. If you did, please reach out to me on Instagram or leave a podcast review on iTunes. I would appreciate that. And yeah, just connect with me. I'm super, really motivated to continue with these podcast episodes so that you can continue getting valuable information.